Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Skura, also known as Islands in Front, and today I want to talk to you about something quite big. And to start you off with, you probably have seen the thumbnail, so you probably know where I'm going with this, but there is an LPI ranking, and LPI stands for Lega Pauper Italia, and that's an Italian, but actually kind of just European ranking of all the players that have gathered points from pauper tournaments. And that are tournaments like EPTs, Super EPTs, IPTs, and basically if you have a local league, you will have such tournaments, you'll gather points, and you'll be on the scoreboard. And then when you look, you have an LPI ranking here, and then basically anyone with points that are at least 300, and we can scroll down to around 100th person here, they will play top pauper player of the year tournament. And this happens at the next Geddon. So you've got the Geddon, and on Friday there's a separate invitational only tournament for players who have reached that threshold. And now I'm of course happy to say that I will be participating because I have indeed cleared the threshold. Now, I've not only cleared the threshold of 300 points, but what can I say? I'm 6th in the whole Europe, or 6th in the full ranking yearly. The ranking spans over a year, and I actually haven't even participated, I think, in all the Geddons in the year. I think I skipped one because I began in winter. And as you look on the right side, you see top appearances, and I have only got 6. And with just 6, bam, it was enough to get there. Now you may ask, well, how is that possible? Well, I won trios at Paupergeddon with Monoblue Fae. I top 4'd the main event with Monoblue Fae. The next week, I became the Polish national champion, which is a super IPT tournament with Monoblue Fae. And I also won trios at our Polish Common Series tournament with Monoblue Fae. And I finished in the finals of a singles event, also at that Common Series tournament with Monoblue Fae. And I also made like a top 8 of my local league once. That is plenty. That is plenty. And I'm not going to lie, I don't really expect that to happen again. So I'll just cherish it while I'm at it. But yes, all with Monoblue Fae, all within, again, November to now, which is like 3/4 of a year. And it culminates now, which I'm really happy to say. So, and actually this kickstarted my Monoblue Fae content kind of career, right? Where I write in-depth guides, and then I have a Discord where there are over 500 people, by the way. So yeah, that's all cool. Now, so if you want to get there, it's not that difficult. 300 points, I think, is realistic if you have a local scene and you travel to Geddons from time to time and you have a full year to do it. I'm not the only Polish person, for example, on the list. There are numerous more, including my teammates, Frakom and Sodek. Now, what are my expectations coming in? So I looked at four of the last big tournaments that happened. And let's take a look together, actually. So, one tournament. Giant Wildfire, 12%, Grixis Affinity, 10%, then Mono Red, then Madness. And then you have just this odd Ephemerate and then Mono Blue. This checks out with what I've been saying. And on my channel, you have like a tier list video where you can see how I discuss these things. And I indeed had Giant and Grixis in the very top. And then Mono Red and Madness were pretty close in the next tier. Then we see Common Cause in Germany, and we see Madness again. Okay, interestingly, then we've got Ponza and Blue Black, which is kind of like a more off the wall type of decision, and then again, but Monoblue Terra, highly respected by me, by the way. Monoblue Fairy is definitely highly respected by me. High Tide, oh yeah, and then Affinity, Junt, Madness, Affinity. In Mono Red, another Jund. So very mid-range heavy. So maybe mid-range didn't get to that top 8, but it was definitely showing strength. So yet again, we see the strength of the mid-range decks. Next tournament, Jund at the top, and then the Red Affinity Madness. right? So we've got mid-range plus red, and then a bit of blue with Terra, Fae, and High Tide. And I think that's a good split to think about it. Mid-range red, blue. Although, again, they are a bit different. Like when I say red, they both try to burn you out, but they play out quite different. Mono blue, completely different play styles. And then we see another tournament, and then we see 16 Giant Wildfire. Again, Madness, Monoblue Fae, Mono Red, and High Tide, right? While the affinity is a bit lower, but like it's a tad lower, right? It all checks out, which is very convenient because when I constructed my list, which you can find here, a video, Monoblue Fae decklist for Luca, very predictable but to the point name. And you can hear me talk for 11 minutes about the list and all the whys and becauses. And there is the decklist, of course, Moxfield in the description there. I'm happy to say that I made this list based off of my predictions. And this all aligns with what I've just showed you here. And then we don't have any more information until the actual top Popper Player of the Year tournament plus Geddon. So I'm really curious to see what actually happens and whether I'm right. I also, if you go to my channel, and I told you there is this tier list video where I talk about everything. And one person challenged me to see an update to this video after Popper-geddon using the data from it. So I think from today, 1-2-ish weeks, we will re-examine the whole tier list and we will see how right I was, and hopefully I will. Now, going back, this is the deck list for Fae I will be playing, or roughly this list, because people are prone to last second changes. But this is roughly what I'm going to play with the snaps, with Strixes, with Dispel's main deck, and such. There is a full guide to this here on my Metafy, a link below. 27 matchups in depth. Now it says 15 hours, and there is a good reason for it. So first of all, okay, 120 people already looked at it. 32 chapters, intro, quick sideboarding tips, so like just to get you going, full cheat sheet for everything, and then matchups. Affinity, Terror, Madness, Giant, High Tide, Mirror, Pingis, Boggles, 5 and 6 land spy separately, Flickertron, Garden, Cycling Storm, and we have to scroll again to Elves, Walls, Corgate, Packdoll, Tron. Is that all actually? Oh, okay, and I kept the outdated root scales. And on top of that, to make it a one-stop shop for you, because that's why you've got these numbers here, I included all of my videos where I discuss the matchup somehow. So for example, in the Giant Wildfire section, I will include, for example, Monoblue Fae versus Giant Wildfire replay, right? And I also have, for example, Live Match versus Dredge. It's included in the Dredge section. So basically, from this guide, you'll see a compendium of a lot of written knowledge, sideboarding tips, how to play them out, and also all the videos. So you have everything in one spot. And you can also, of course, join the Discord, free and public, and ask me any questions. So this is it. This is it. This is my guide for the list based off of data, which you can again listen about here. And we have just taken a look together. And it also culminates in me being in the top 8 of the European yearly ranking, which makes me very grateful, and I'm really happy to have done it. Yeah, so I think that's all I wanted to tell you today. Thank you very much for clicking on this video, and I think the next video might come after Popper-geddon, possibly. So you'll definitely hear like my tournament report recap, or at least meta game recap, probably both. Yeah. When you see me at Geddon, do feel free to approach me, take a pic, get something signed. I will have markers, or just talk about Fae or anything. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, please remember to hold my hand and let's pass it together. And I will see you next time. Cheers.